Over the last few years, a very common topic that's been said time and time again amongst multiple entrepreneurs that I speak with is these kids these days, they just don't work anymore. And frankly, I call BS all day long. And basically, it's not a matter of being right or wrong. I feel that there has always been the same amount of people that don't want to work in the workforce, as well as people that are go-getters, high achievers, etc. The number one question that I ask people when they say, I'm just having a hard time at finding help, is, well, what are you doing to attract the people that you seek? What are you doing as an entrepreneur to be attractive? So it's like dating. If I'm, you know, out of shape, highly unfit, I'm 300, I was 300 pounds. So if I'm 300 pounds, I'm not going to have the girlfriend that I currently have because I'm not fit enough or attractive enough to attract that individual. Now, in the marketplace for hiring employees is very much the same. What makes your business unique and attractive enough that that person should give their time, which is non-refundable, to hop onto your mission and vision to help you grow that mission and vision? So why are you so unique? And most people aren't. Most people don't know what they want. They're not aligned with themselves. So why should somebody be aligned with you? And so until you get good with you and understand what you want in life, what you want for other people, what you want for your family, what you want for your team, you're not going to attract the top tier people that you so desire. And I'll give you a couple scenarios in this video that will help you improve attracting the right talent. So the very first thing by far is getting healthy. If you can just take care of yourself, you cannot buy a six pack. You cannot buy, looking, lean. I'm not even where I want to be yet. But by comparison to where I was 2 years ago, where I was 300 pounds, eating fast food every day, I literally ate Zaxby's if you're on the East Coast. I ate Zaxby's for a year and a half straight just because I felt that I had no time in the day, and one of my employees liked Zaxby's, and he would go get Zaxby's every single day. And so I was like, yep, Cajun Club with fries, maybe extra fries if I was feeling froggy, and sometimes cheddar bites with a large Diet Coke. Every single day, Monday through Friday, for like a year or a year and a half. But at least it wasn't fried, right? At least it was the grilled chicken. But that's the lie that I told myself for years. And my team at the time was pretty solid. I got very lucky. I don't know, how I was able to maintain those people because I wasn't taking care of myself. So how can I take care of them? The moment that I started honoring my body and honoring myself and getting out and getting to where I said I was going to run 15 miles on a weekend, or maybe some weekends I'd run 20 miles. Every single day I was going to run 5 miles minimum with 2 off days, which is Monday and Friday. If they were seeing my watch photos on my story, that they knew that I was going to do what I said I was going to do. So that means that now, if I'm doing that, which is very difficult, running every day, and I say, hey, over the next 6 months, I want to make this change, and it's for these reasons, it's going to benefit you this way. Are they going to believe me? Now they do. When I was a fat slob, no. It's just another vision from Brent that he's got this new thing and he wants to do it, right? And so, getting back to the youth, I've used this analogy before. You're 20 years into whatever you're doing, okay? Let's just say 10 years. That's a little more reasonable. 10 years into doing what you're doing. Let's just say me. I'm from the vehicle wrap space. Let's just say 10 years later, I'm still putting a squeegee on a car, and I'm trying to hire an installer. Do you think that installer wants to work for you if you're still squeegeeing on the car 10 years later as your primary means of income versus going out and seeking more opportunity? Probably not, because these young kids say, it took him 10 years and he's still holding that squeegee. That's not really a career path that I desire, unless they're like gung-ho for, I want to be an installer. And there are those type of people, but they're few and far between. So you have to show the career path by doing and exceeding your own self and replacing yourself, and allowing for the people within your entity and or the new hires the opportunity. And so I had a paradigm shift in my own mind where I essentially said, if I'm holding this squeegee, I don't mind helping you guys in the back, but if I touch this squeegee, I am robbing you of opportunity. I'll train you. That's not robbing you of opportunity. But if I have to come back here and help you meet a deadline, or if I have to come back here and install because you're sick, or if I have to come back here and install because you called out, I'm robbing you of opportunity. And that's just the way I put it. So that's my number one rebuttal to people that say that I can't find good qualified help. It's out there. There's talented help. There's people that are working for other people that hate their jobs, that are highly talented, that just want to be seen, heard, and appreciated. But you don't put yourself out there to attract that person to come into your entity. Most of your best hires are already working for somebody else. So that's number one. If you want top tier talent in your team, they're already working for somebody else. Make your shop look amazing. Do videos and content, not just about the jobs that you do, but about the team, about the culture that you have, to where, man, they're like, man, I'm jealous. I need to go over there to that company. I need to go work for that person. That person seems to see me, and they want to see me succeed. That person, maybe it's you're putting on courses to where your installers are making enough money to where they need tax benefits because they're making too much money that they're paying too much taxes. What a problem to solve for your employees, right? And so that's the biggest issue, in my opinion, is there's not a shortage of good help. There's a shortage of good leaders that are creating true, real opportunities, because a lot of times the job expectation and the reality that you're trying to pitch to the individual isn't real. It's not good enough. It doesn't exist. It's just pie in the sky. And you really just want that person to be take the responsibilities of things that you don't want to do. Now, naturally, that is the case. But you have to make sure that they have a way to assemble a career path. So, my number one way of, let's just say that person, that number one opportunity source, which is your A-tier talent, they're working for somebody else, they come into your shop. What do? Do you just, piss on their leg and tell them it's raining? Or do you already have a document that shows that, hey man, if you want to come work for me, here's my road to 100K. It's already pre-outlined. We have a performance-based pay here for that position. Obviously different positions vary, but we have performance-based. I'm speaking mostly from the technician role because that's usually the primary issue that we have in most businesses, is fulfilling the work that we sell. And so I have a road to 100K outline to where, hey man, when you first start with me, you're going to be a level 1 installer. You can be a level 1 installer for 30 days or 60 days. So that means that you can promote yourself to a level 2 installer after 30 days if you qualify. Now, if you're going to lollygag, then you got 60 days max and then you're fired. So immediately I have the expectation of what is required. So if they're skilled already, 30 days, boom, they're next level. If they're not skilled, there's a timeline of you need to get at least this good by 60 days or you're fired. And it's crystal clear. And then we provide them all the tools that they need in order to succeed within those 60 days. Then from level 2 to level 3 installer, means they're starting to get a little bit more dangerous. They can help the other people a little more with their tasks. They can do like 50 to 60% of the task alone. That position, I believe, currently is sitting at 60 days minimum. So in 60 days, 2 months time, they can advance to a level 3 and make full commission pay immediately. This is just for the savages, because there's no reason that you can't train somebody from the ground up in a short amount of time. And this is specifically speaking to most trades. There are definitely the few that take a little bit longer. However, I think the ones that also feel that it takes a little bit longer, like vehicle wraps, there's people that think it takes 2 years to train an installer just because it takes 2 years because for some reason you're God's gift to earth and you figured it out in 3 months. Like, let's be real. It only takes 3 to 6 months to figure out how to wrap 85 to 90% of the objects that you need to wrap, and then you just need to refine your skills for that last 10%. Because I did it and you did it as the owner because you had to. You had pressure. And so that's why you do this 60-day minimum with a 4-month maximum. So at this point, we're getting closer to that 6-month period from 2 to 3. And in that time, they are shadowing a level 3 to 5 installer, and they are also got specific duties such as you must spend 20 minutes training this specific thing every single day. In our case, in the wrap industry, we did cutting on the car, cutting on paint on test panels, of course, cutting and trimming panels out on the vehicle because you can just trim it, move it over, trim it, move it over. It's very boring and mundane, but if you did 15 minutes every single day for 60 days, you're going to be really good at it. And everybody trains trimming last. I train trimming first. And so putting that minimum threshold allows you to expedite and accelerate how fast they learn. And so that way you can get yourself out of the technician role faster, and then also give this person who maybe has never had opportunity in their life and or just hated their job and wants to work at a rad shop that enjoys a good culture, etc. You're giving them a new home where they actually feel refreshed and they're not ticked off when they go home and yell at their family, which is not excusable, of course. But the point is you're giving them more bandwidth to be a better person in the world because they're actually happy. So this is just a tangent of mine that I have on hiring, expectations of what leaders should be doing in the workplace. I'm sick and tired of hearing that there's not enough workers. They're just harder to find. That's it. And then the B and A level talent just call you on your stuff a lot faster. Because if you really don't have a career opportunity, they're not going to work for you. So, or, even if the career opportunity doesn't exist, at least if you're working towards it and you have like a track record that like you're acting quarterly on specific things and you're growing the business at a specific rate, then they might stick with you. Another problem that people have with hiring is they wait until they need to hire somebody. If you say that there's nobody in the marketplace to hire, how do you know that that's true? Whatever, the talent just might not be available right now, but they were available 2 months ago, or they might be available 2 months from now. So I utilize wisehire.com as my hiring platform, and we try to keep an ad up at all times for administration role, for a production role, and an installer role at all times. It's $200 a month. And yes, it's $200 a month even when you don't need it. But at $200 a month, if you were to quantify, like if you needed help, if you were proactively reaching out, and let's just say you were a great shop and there was an A-tier talent that happened to apply for you 2 months ago, but you need him now, and he went and worked for somebody else, and that shop ended up not being what he expected. You've already captured his data through marketing. That's what you're doing. The position. You can follow up with that individual and say, hey, man, I'm so sorry we weren't hiring at the time, but we're hiring now, and would you be interested in at least checking out the position and coming by? Again, the people you want most likely already have a job somewhere else, and you just need their data to call upon them. So you should be always hiring. You should always have an ad open. You have to remember that as much as you hire or market for new leads, you need to market for your positions in your company, because you don't know if somebody's going to pass away, leave the state because their family member got a promotion, decide to run their own business. Like, that is a fully reactive situation because there's so many variables that somebody tomorrow could just not be working for you. And so you need to already have ads out the whole time looking for that position, even though you don't need it today. And so always be hiring. And I'll give you a real pro tip on WiseHire. Make them fill out a disc profile. It's free. So I don't know how they do it on WiseHire, but basically you can get a free disc profile. Usually they're $180. And it'll tell you if their personality type is good for that position. So that way you only have to interview the people that have good personality types that match. Now, that's not 100% track record that they didn't answer the questions wrong on the disc profile, but at least it refines how many people you need to actually interview. The second hoop that we do is if they fill out the disc profile upon the contact being submitted by the end user that's trying to get a job, it sends out an email immediately and says, hey, are you still seeking employment for this position? And they have to respond to that email in 24 hours. If they do, I move the card to qualified. If they do not respond in 24 hours, I don't even bother contacting them, whether I need them or not, even if it's months later, because they didn't follow directions. And the job ad has said, we will be seeing your email, please respond promptly. So what you want to do is make sure that they follow directions. So if they don't answer that prompt to, are you still looking for employment in 24 hours, I don't even process them as a qualified candidate. Especially for the administration position. I might give some leniency for a really good candidate that's on the installer technical position because they're a little less computer savvy in some cases and or don't frequent those things as quickly. But for an administrative role, like their job is quite literally to be very diligent and prompt on emails, etc. So if they can't follow up back in 24 hours on a job that they so desire, then I'm not interested. And that will filter out, like, especially for an administrative receptionist role, office manager, etc. You'll get 200 applicants pretty quickly sometimes, and you don't have the time to interview 200 people. So you need to distill that down. And then out of those 200 people, maybe 20 of them will actually follow the directions. And now you only have 20 interviews to do. And then from there, you interview more people. Hiring is a skill. We're not good at it naturally. We need to have to understand how to move through all the mess because they're showing you their best self in that interview, and you need to be able to sift through that and discern whether that person's actually the person that you want to hire and bring into your group. And one of my favorite things is just having the team sometimes handle a lesser part of the interview. So basically, like, have one of your key players do the first key initial interview and whether they vibe or not. And that doesn't mean that they always have to like each other, but like, did they like that person to a decent extent? You know, sometimes it's not how we hire, it's and how are we going to get it done? It's who's going to get that job done. So tasking it out to some of your key players is actually a really cool play because now you're giving them some ownership in who also comes into the culture and the network and the community within the shop. One other thing that'll really help you in your hiring process is having a clear defined, especially this, I'm mostly focusing again on the technician role because a lot of people have issues with the fulfillment side. The administrative positions sometimes aren't nearly as hard to fill, but the people that are going out in the sun and working, etc., having clear defined payment descriptions or some form of compensation plan helps dramatically. So I've already mentioned that I have my road to 100K roadmap for my installers to where they promote themselves. I don't have meetings with them and say, hey, I would like to give you a promotion. It's literally reward-based pay that's plenty fair, and it shows them how that they can make starting from $20 an hour and how they can get up to $50 an hour, essentially. And having that compensation plan right off cuff, if you got that savage or killer that comes across your shelf, like, that might sway them to do business with you instead of go get hired by, Johnny up the road. And same with salespeople. I mean, salespeople are the number one that if you don't have your compensation plan dialed and it's not clear, concise, and understandable, you're not going to get a killer because you got like all these variable rates and all that stuff. Like, we legitimately pay salesmen 10%, no cap, and it's residual, meaning if they maintain that account to where you dream bigger and you go get a bigger account, you get all of the projects that come from that account for life as long as you are with the company. And it's also their job to maintain that relationship though as well, to where, monthly, 60-day, 90-day follow-ups, just saying, hey man, how you doing? Bring some donuts by, etc., for the real like A-level clients, or to upgrade a B to an A-level client. And so make sure that you actually have documentation around a hiring. Actually, frankly, You need a hiring process. So create an SOP on exactly how you're going to hire an individual whenever that time comes, to where you know which step that you are taking so that you come off as organized, to where that A person's like, all right, I found the right place. Because if you're clumsy and you're clunky, they're going to leave. They're going to see right through your nonsense. I've mostly hired young people, and I've mostly hired people who did not already have the skill for what it is that they're doing. And I've enjoyed it dramatically. Like having the youth, like the 20-year-olds work for me that are just killers and hustlers, is something that just puts a smile on my face. I think that they're out there. Quit using it as an excuse that kids don't want to work anymore as a way to validate your lack of leadership. So that's all I got for this video. I hope it was helpful and beneficial. If you'd like to go into hiring processes more, there's a link down below where you can book a call with me, and we can take a look at your company, and I can help you in any way possible. It's totally free, by the way. I dedicate 30 minutes every single day of my day to putting good out in the world, and I've learned tons from it since I started doing that, and I'm looking to continue that for as long as I can. So check the link below if you'd like to book a call with me to go over anything. It doesn't have to be specific to hiring, but I want to help you and your business succeed. I'm looking to grow this community much larger. And if you are needing help in a specific topic in your company, then please comment below what you are struggling with. If it's something that I feel that I can bring value to the community, then I absolutely will touch up on it. So thank you so much for your time, and we'll see you on the next one. Peace.